Even a broken clock can be right twice a day. This is in response to a headline article or analysis from the CBC News under the World section from Keith Bogue. Why the alt-right can't be ignored, much less censored. Twitter has banned several alt-right accounts, with the leading voice decrying the crackdown as a great purge. What blissful days these must be for the alt-right. Their preferred candidate for president is transitioning into the White House. Their champion, Steve Bannon, formerly CEO of the most mainstream media platform for alt-right voices on the internet, Breitbart.com, has secured a place in the West Wing at elbow's length from the new president. And the conventional media seems to be stumbling along trying to decide whether to explain the alt-right, ignore it, censor it, or refuse to even speak its name. Josh Marshall at Talking Points Memo fears the very term alt-right is a sinister branding move to give cover to racists. Instead, he suggests journalists should use the phrase such as the alt-right, a white nationalist anti-Semitic movement. Like I say, I pay attention, as most of you people that listen to my videos and anything that I have to discuss or talk about, I pay attention to the leftists, the alt-right, all these special interest groups, right? Or political groups. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not saying that. I don't know where they're hiding. It must be in some deep, dark corners of the web. But I just don't see it. I've never seen it myself personally. And I'm not talking about individual people. There are such thing as racists, of course. In every country, you're going to come across people that are racist or ignorant or prejudiced towards people of different colors, backgrounds, ethnicity, whatever, right? But I am not seeing, and if it really existed at the level that it's being espoused by the mainstream media, I would, hey, listen, I won't lie to you for anybody. I got no skin in the game. Nobody's paying my fucking way through life, right? So I don't have to yield or obey to anybody or to conform to anybody's narrative. And I'm telling you, I have never personally seen it. And like I say, how many people pay any more fucking attention to things than I do? I can't imagine there's very many. I spend countless hours every day. And I mean, I've done it for years and years and years. I just don't see this narrative being played out in real life where the people that voted for Trump or those who chose to vote in the Brexit to leave the European Union, right? This forced political union or economic union even. I'm not seeing this rampant amount of racism or just ignorance or like being compared to people such as Hitler or shit like that. I mean, that's another thing too. Fucking socialists. I mean, I'm not going to start into that. I've already covered that one on many levels. But like I say, I just don't see it. So to me, the media, the political propaganda, all those on the left and promote that shit that were cheering for their team, they just seem like really butthurt losers at this stage of the game, right? And they're just doing anything they can to attack the ideas or the ideology of those who don't fall in line with their particular narrative or their own ideology. Folks, alt-right is a branding move for white nationalists, racists, and anti-Semites, neo-Nazis. I've used it, but we shouldn't use it. This is from Josh TPM, at Josh TPM, so Talking Points Memo. The alt-right abbreviation refers to the alternative right, a term most often attributed to Richard Spencer. You may have seen his name recently. He's a white nationalist about whom much has been written since Twitter suspended his and other supposed alt-right accounts on Tuesday in a crackdown on what it considers hate speech. Actually, never heard about that nearly as much as I heard about the Milo Yiannopoulos Twitter ban. And he's someone, again, that they try to paint as this alt-right. And what is he? A white gay person from the United Kingdom, right? So, could he possibly be a homophobe, considering he is homosexual? Highly doubtful, right? That's what happens when you're a fucking propagandist and a bunch of liars all the time. It's just you have to navigate that. Oh, I can't even imagine what it must be like. Which is why even when I was a kid, I'd rather tell the truth and own up to that fact and just take whatever consequence or punishment that was going to be put down on me, whether it's from my parents or anyone else. I just having to remember these lies and to play these fucking stupid games, to me, it was like, what a waste of time. I'm all about efficiency, right? Fuck that. That's a waste of time. I like to streamline things. To have my mind all messed up in this mumbo jumbo. I like these fucking leftists, these collectivists, or those even on the right politically, the religious right, I should say. They have to keep fucking trying to function with all those contradictions. Like I say, efficiency. Libertarian, even the philosophy, is not just about proper principles, and those things matter most, proper principles and philosophical endeavors and universally consistent narratives, but just efficiency even, right? Universal consistency and efficiency go hand in hand. Was blocking a blunder? Yeah. There has been much discussion about whether that was a smart move, and indeed, so far it looks like a blunder. The only payoff seems to be for the alt-right who, predictably, is delighted to accuse Twitter of censorship. Right? You keep falling in your own stupid-ass traps. And, I mean, you can blame other people for saying, look at the trap they fell in. But, hey, only you set up the trap and you fell in. Don't blame others for your stupidity. Spencer's thoughts can still be found over all of social media, YouTube, and even the establishment media. But now we should presume he's also happily reveling in his new status as a victim of what he calls corporate Stalinism. There is a great purge going on, and they are purging people based on their views, he says in a video posted after the Twitter ousting. It's no coincidence this has happened in the wake of Trump's election. The alt-right is skilled at social media. Social media had a role in Trump's victory, so some of its owners see Trump's success as their failure. But to members of the alt-right, Twitter's attack on their voices only proves the argument that big corporate media always acts to stifle dissent. When media moves in a different direction and try to unpack what the alt-right means to understand and explain it, the result can be just as unsatisfying. Of course, because they just try to paint everyone as racist, homophobes, white nationalists. Of course, like you're seeing this played out in real time on the world stage from the establishment media and political propagandists. That now they're trying to backtrack on this shit, and no, they're not going to fucking be able to do it no matter what they try, because they continue to shoot themselves in the foot because of their own indoctrinated beliefs into their ideology. This week, NPR invited Breitbart.com senior editor Joel Pollock onto its morning program to share some of his insights about his former boss. When the host asked why Brannon made Breitbart.com, in Bannon's own words, the platform for the alt-right, Pollock seemed to deny the premise. The only alt-right article we have is a single article out of tens of thousands of articles, which is a journalistic article about the alt-right, he said. The article basically went into this movement and tried to figure out what it was all about. That's not racist. That's journalism. Well, duh. Of course it's journalism. He tried to investigate things. That is investigative journalism. But like I said, the media, the establishment media, they're so butthurt after this, and I love it. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. Because, winning. The answer is disingenuous in every respect. The journalistic article he refers to on Establishment Conservatives' Guide to the Alt-Right is a smug and flattering defense of the movement and a worthwhile read. In a self-aggrandizing way, co-author Milo Yiannopoulos is one of the alt-right movement's most prominent proponents. The piece shines light on what it calls a dangerously bright and fearsomely intelligent mix of renegades, mostly white males who object to the establishment political consensus in some form or other. Now, in some past stage in history, those people that they're talking about would be promoted as amazing proponents of fighting for justice, freedom, and liberty. But because we live in this modern age of collectivism, of government central planning, forced mysticism, and subjugation, Now it's been completely, like I said, it's been flipped upside down now. The rebels, the anti-establishment, those who fight against the status quo, who stand up for the individual. Yeah, we're like the outcasts now, right? We're supposed to be not respected, or those of us that care about those things are supposed to be put at the back of the bus. I mean, think about how fucked that is, right? Think about how fucked that premise is. Think of how far, I mean, we're at the other side of the bell curve when you talk about freedom is supposed to be on our way up, and now we're going back down into the pits of hell, apparently. But this is the mainstream media once again, CBC. But they still want to keep playing these games. They're getting paid for it, so they don't really give a shit, right? And they surround themselves with an inner circle of collectivists and these fucks, so they don't even understand. They're scratching their head continually to this day, and you see it. It's profound. It's profuse. They just don't understand how the regular people. How is it that we don't have that much power over them anymore? Well, it's called the internet. It's called alternative media. It's called voices of reason and logic. It's called objective philosophy, the philosophy of liberty. That is the counter narrative. That is the counterweight against your bullshit, against your propaganda. And you can't beat us. You know why? Because we have truth on our side. You can't beat the truth, right? If I say to someone that 2 + 2 is 4, and someone else says 2 + 2 is 5, that person might even have a lot more credentials. But all we have to do is create the fundamental aspects, put us on a stage, on a platform, and I can prove that 2 + 2 is 4. Can someone prove that 2 + 2 is 5? No, they might try many different tricks, illusions, messing with the language to convey that narrative, but in the end, it's going to be proven false. Every time, all the time. You know what? Yeah, I'm not going to continue reading on to this article. If you want, as per usual, I'll post a link to this article in the description of this video so you can continue to read on. But really what I'm trying to get at and trying to point to in this video is the establishment media, they no longer control the narrative. And they're scared shitless and fearful of the fact that now that they've lost, the attention of the masses, and the masses are more and more turning their backs on them. They're scared to death, and now they're going to, well, in reality, they should be, trying to unwind some of that bullshit superstition and lies and propaganda that's been built up in their mind over all this time that they've been putting forth and presenting and trying to dictate to the masses. In reality, they should sit back and reflect on that and mend their ways and hopefully try to get back in a position of trust where the people will come around and say, okay, you fucked up, but at least you've owned up to it and are trying to do better now. But they don't even want to put forth that pretense. They could even try that and lie boldly to your face that they were going to do it, but they're so spiteful, they're so ignorant, they're so vicious and vile. They won't even try that. They're going to continue to keep pounding away. But I'm glad and I'm happy that they will, because they're only going to prove their irrelevance in the long run. And that's really ultimately what's going to be the destruction of their ability to put forth the narrative that seems to be the dominant one. The alternative media doesn't have any power, influence, or authority. We just have truth, objective reason, and logic. And ultimately, that's why we're going to win the long run game in these so-called info wars. This is the Canadian Libertarian reporting for World Alternative Media. And you know what? I love liberty.